Have you ever noticed how quiet things get around you? Not just the noise in the house, but in the way people speak to you. Slower, softer, like they think you're fragile, like they're worried the truth might be too much. Maybe it's in the way your doctor talks, or how your kids look at you when you say you feel tired again. You tell yourself it's fine, just age, but deep down a question starts to form. What if it's not just aging? What if something else is quietly changing? Something serious. You're still doing your best, taking your vitamins, watching your sugar, trying to stay active when you can. But some mornings you wake up more tired than you went to bed. A short walk leaves you winded. You forget why you came into a room. You grip the handrail a little tighter going down the stairs. And though you don't say it out loud, there's a part of you that wonders, is this the beginning of the end? It's a quiet fear, one most people carry alone. But you're not alone. And more importantly, you're not powerless. The truth is, nearly all deaths that happen after the age of 75 trace back to just a few specific causes, not random ones, predictable ones. And that means they're not just happening by chance. They're happening because people didn't know what to look for, or because they waited too long to act. But if you understand the risks now, if you make even small adjustments, you can not only avoid these dangers, you can stay healthier, stronger, and more independent than anyone ever expected. In this video, we're going to walk through the 5 most common causes of death after 75. But this isn't about fear, it's about knowledge. These aren't just medical terms. They're choices, they're habits, they're patterns we can change. So stay with us until the end. If you're finding this helpful, give the video a like and consider subscribing to the Longevity Secret channel. We share clear, compassionate guidance to help you live longer and live better. Because the truth is, most of what takes seniors down later in life doesn't start with a crisis. It starts with something small, and that's where we begin, with the one organ working hardest every second of your life, your heart, the hidden load on the heart, why it gives out quietly. Frank had always been active. He coached baseball, walked every morning, cut his own grass well into his 70s. But by 79, he noticed something had changed. He couldn't finish a slow walk around the block without stopping to catch his breath. His legs felt heavy. He chalked it up to getting older. But one Sunday morning while getting dressed, he collapsed. He woke up in the hospital with tubes in his arms and monitors beeping around him. What he thought was normal aging was actually a silent storm brewing in his heart for years. Heart disease remains the #1 cause of death for people over 75. And the hardest part, most people don't feel it coming. It builds in silence. The arteries gradually narrow. The heart works harder. Blood pressure creeps up. And most of the time, there are no warning signs, no chest pain, no obvious signal to say something is wrong. The truth is, many older adults live for years with high blood pressure or poor circulation without knowing it. And then one day a heart attack or stroke strikes without warning. It doesn't happen overnight. It happens one missed checkup at a time, one more processed meal, one less walk. That's how the heart weakens. But the good news is your heart is stronger than you think, and it responds quickly to small changes. Eating more whole foods like leafy greens, salmon, and beans can improve circulation and reduce inflammation. Getting up and moving daily, even if it's just a walk around the house or light stretches by the bed, helps strengthen the heart muscle. And most importantly, checking your blood pressure regularly and talking with your doctor if it's high can literally save your life. One thing we often forget, the heart is a muscle. Like any muscle, it needs care, it needs movement, it needs rest, it needs support, and it needs your attention before symptoms appear. What made the difference for Frank wasn't a dramatic change. It was finally listening to his body and choosing to take care of it before it was too late. The fall that changes everything. Rosa was 82. She lived alone in the house she'd raised 3 kids in. She still cooked her meals, did her laundry, even tended to her rose bushes every spring. But one winter morning she slipped while reaching for her cat's food bowl in the kitchen. It was a small fall, just a quick slide across the tile, but she couldn't get back up. Her hip was broken, and in the weeks that followed, so was her confidence. What many people don't realize is that a single fall after 75 can lead to a rapid and permanent decline. In fact, according to the CDC, more than 34,000 adults over 65 die from fall-related injuries each year. But beyond the numbers is something more personal. Falls aren't just physical. They steal independence. They cause fear. They make strong people question their every step. After her surgery, Rosa spent months in recovery. She needed help bathing, dressing, walking. She stopped going outside. Not because she couldn't, but because she was afraid to fall again. That fear created a loop: less movement, weaker muscles, more stiffness, and an even higher chance of falling again. But falling isn't just about bad luck. Most falls have clear causes: low muscle strength, poor balance, slippery floors, loose rugs, dim lighting, and the medications many seniors take can also make things worse by causing dizziness or sudden drops in blood pressure. The good news is that nearly all of these risks can be reduced. Simple strength exercises like standing leg lifts or gentle chair squats can rebuild balance and power. Installing brighter lights, using non-slip mats, and placing handrails in key places can make a big difference. And a quick conversation with your doctor about side effects from medications might help you avoid a dangerous fall. Rosa eventually recovered, but she told her daughter something that stuck. She said, "I didn't realize how fast things could change until they did." Her story is a reminder we don't have to wait for a fall to start protecting ourselves. We can make our homes safer, we can stay strong, and we can stay steady. Breathing becomes a burden. How lung health declines. George was 77 when he started having a dry cough that wouldn't go away. He felt a little short of breath walking up the stairs, but he figured it was just the winter air. Then one night he woke up gasping. His wife called 911. By the time they reached the hospital, he had pneumonia. And what started as a nuisance turned into a week in intensive care. Lung problems don't usually arrive all at once. They creep in slowly. A little more breathlessness than before, a cough that lingers, a wheeze you only hear at night. But for people over 75, these subtle changes can turn serious fast. The lungs lose elasticity with age. The muscles that help us breathe get weaker, and the immune system doesn't fight infections as well. Chronic lung diseases like COPD and bronchitis are common in seniors, especially those who have been exposed to smoke, air pollution, or dust over time. But one of the biggest dangers is that most people ignore the early signs. They wait, they hope it will pass, and by the time they get help, the damage has grown worse. Simple things can protect the lungs. Staying active helps the lungs expand fully and keeps mucus from building up. Light exercise like walking, stretching, or even singing can help keep lung tissue flexible and strong. Making sure your home has clean air by using purifiers or keeping windows open for fresh air also helps, especially if you have pets or a history of allergies. And there's one more tool that's often overlooked: vaccines. Getting a flu shot, pneumonia vaccine, and COVID booster doesn't just prevent illness. It can save your life. Because once the lungs are weakened, even a small infection can become a serious threat. George recovered, but he now takes his breathing more seriously. He stretches every morning, keeps an air purifier near his bed, and he no longer waits to see a doctor when something feels off. Because he learned that breathing easy isn't something to take for granted, it's something to protect. The stroke no one sees coming. Linda was 81 when it happened. A retired school librarian with a love for crosswords and tea, she prided herself on keeping her mind sharp. But one afternoon while reading, she suddenly couldn't make sense of the words on the page. Her vision blurred. Her right hand went numb. It lasted maybe 5 minutes, then passed. She brushed it off. Just a dizzy spell, she told her son. 2 weeks later, she had a massive stroke. This time, the symptoms didn't go away. Strokes are often thought of as sudden and unpredictable. But what most people don't know is that nearly 80% of strokes can be prevented. They don't just come out of nowhere. They build over time silently through high blood pressure, irregular heart rhythms, and poor circulation. And often there are warnings, small signs, brief moments of confusion, temporary vision problems, a mild slur in speech. These are not just senior moments, they're alarms. High blood pressure is one of the biggest risks. It weakens artery walls and makes them more likely to break or clog. But because it doesn't cause pain, most people never realize it's high until something serious happens. That's why regular checkups matter, and why keeping track of your own blood pressure at home is a powerful tool. Another cause is a condition called atrial fibrillation, or AFib, where the heart beats irregularly. This makes it easier for blood to pool and form clots. If one of those clots travels to the brain, it can block a blood vessel and cause a stroke in seconds. But again, AFib is something a doctor can catch with a simple test. And once it's found, there are treatments that dramatically lower the risk. What we eat also plays a big role. Diets high in salt, sugar, and unhealthy fats can lead to thickened blood and damaged vessels. But foods like leafy greens, berries, and nuts support circulation and reduce inflammation. Even drinking more water can help keep your blood flowing the way it should. What happened to Linda wasn't just bad luck. It was a missed warning. But since then, her family has made changes. Her son checks her blood pressure weekly. Her meals are simpler, cleaner, and every morning they walk together, slowly but steadily, because they now understand that strokes don't always announce themselves loudly. Sometimes they whisper. And the sooner you listen, the better your chances. The slow disappearance of the mind. Harold always loved music. He played guitar in the local church band, knew every line of every hymn. But one Sunday morning, something strange happened. He couldn't remember how to start his favorite song. He stared at the chords like they were written in a different language. His hands trembled. The notes were gone. That was the first time his daughter noticed something was wrong. Over the next few months, Harold began forgetting appointments. He left the stove on twice. One night he wandered outside looking for a dog they hadn't owned in years. Cognitive decline isn't always loud. It begins with little things. A name on the tip of the tongue, a missed payment, a growing frustration with tasks that used to be second nature. And for many seniors, those signs are easy to explain away. Just a bit tired. Everyone forgets things. But eventually those small lapses grow. And one day it becomes clear. This isn't just aging. It's something more. Diseases like Alzheimer's and dementia don't just affect memory. They affect independence, judgment, even physical health. Seniors with cognitive decline are more likely to miss medications, eat poorly, and suffer falls or injuries because their minds are no longer alert to danger. But just like every other part of the body, the brain can be supported. It responds to use, to challenge, to connection, playing games, learning something new, reading, having deep, meaningful conversations. These are not luxuries. They're brain workouts, and they help delay or reduce mental decline. And physical exercise matters too. Movement increases blood flow to the brain. Just a 20-minute walk each day has been shown to support memory and concentration. Staying socially connected is also critical. Isolation shrinks the brain. Loneliness speeds up cognitive aging. But being part of a community, a group, or even a regular phone call can slow that process. Harold's daughter now plays music with him every afternoon. Some days he forgets the chords, but other days they sing in harmony like nothing ever changed. Those moments are priceless, and they're possible because she didn't wait. She leaned in early, and together they found ways to keep his mind as alive as his heart. Getting older comes with changes. Some are expected, others take us by surprise. But what matters most isn't how many candles are on the cake. It's how much life is still burning inside you. and that life is worth protecting. Today we talked about the 5 leading causes of death after 75, not to scare you, but to remind you that most of these risks are not written in stone. They are shaped by choices, habits, awareness, and you have more influence than you've been told. There's a lesson that runs through every part of this journey, and it's this. Aging doesn't have to mean giving up. It can mean waking up to what matters, to the small steps that still carry great power, to the truth that your body still listens and your heart still responds to care. You don't need to change everything overnight. Just begin. One healthy meal, one safe walk, one phone call, one decision to say, I still matter, I still have time, and I will take care of myself. Remember what we said earlier. Most of what brings people down later in life doesn't come out of nowhere. It starts small, and so do the things that can save you. So if something in this video spoke to you, stay with us. Like this video, subscribe to the Longevity Secret channel for more guidance you can trust, and please leave a comment. Tell us what you learned, or share your story. We read everyone, and your voice could help someone else feel less alone. Thanks for being here today. Take care of yourself. You're stronger than you think, and we'll see you in the next video.